Hello, hello. Hi, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to be looking at this while I wait. And, ooh, there's embellishment mousse in here. Awesome. Super cool. I'm just opening this kit, and hopefully I get some friends to join me while I open this up and take a peek inside. There's so many beautiful goodies in here, and I'm going to be crafting with them, and I wanted to share what is in here. This is the butterfly frames kit. They all come with these little stickers. Hello, Tanya. Thank you for being here. Let me know if you can hear me okay. This is my second attempt. Do you know how this goes with me? Hola. Ay, gracias por estar aquí. Dame un thumbs up. Dame la manito. So, I need you guys to share my video. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so if you know the drill, this is Tonic's Craft Kit number 91. I'm going to share the contents, and of course this one comes this month with a die set, transfer stickers, and a 3D embossing folder. Super exciting. Here is the embossing folder that is new to the kits. And that, what I mean is that Tonic Craft Kits are now including items that they didn't used to have in the past. This is a 3D embossing folder. As you can tell, it's got the beautiful little butterfly motifs. Super pretty. It comes also, this time around, instead of a stamp set, you get a rub-on sheet, or a couple of them at least, the transfers. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that this kit should have started shipping either yesterday or today, and it will be available for purchase for those who have not yet subscribed up until the 18th of this month. So if you're rewatching this video, hello Wendy, welcome. You can still get your hands on this so long as it has not already sold out. Now I did see yesterday there was a little bit of a snafu on one of the websites was saying that the kit was sold out. That was actually a computer error. So it has not sold out yet, guys. They always have plenty of kits to go around. But here's what's inside in terms of the dies. And we're going to get our hands messy, so I'm going to start opening these. And this kit is just wonderful for this time of year because it's got all of these little arched motifs, and then the butterflies as you saw, but then these have the little florals, and you can use them together or separately. There's these separate little dies here that can be interpreted as either greenery or herbs. So if, for instance, you're doing a little tea set, that would be really cute. This one says miss you, and it has a shadow. Hugs and kisses with the shadow. Hello friend with the shadow. I love it when they include that. Then this one here has the solid dies and also the stippling edge. So you get 3 sizes there. These tiny little flowers, the butterflies, and then the little centers, and all of the butterflies also have their shadows. Really beautiful. And then of course these dies and the sentiments, everything is exclusive to the kit, so this will not be made available separately unless they relaunch it. That's up to Tonic Studios. It doesn't typically happen. The other thing that you get in your kit, of course, if you're new to this, is that you get Nouveau goodies. They're full-size Nouveau product. Let me get my little scissors out. So this is a lot of fun because if you are new to any type of mixed media or little extras such as these, then you get to test drive the colors and all of that before you buy. And I meant to grab a scrap sheet of paper, so let me do that really quick. I'll be right back. Squeak. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Okay, that way we can do the messy stuff, right? Now the drops come in different types. This happens to be a crystal drop. It does dry as a pearl shape because it does dome automatically. However, and it's got a really intense color. This one is Violet Galaxy. And I tried to point my light here so that it would hit right front and center here. However, my room is, I don't know why, but today's a little bit on the dark side. I don't know what's going on. All right, let me close this or move it. Might help a little bit. Okay, so there's that. Let's play with these. And I'm super excited that that's included. And this kit has a lot, guys. There's a lot in here. Not always this much. So I'm finding, I have to try to find room here on my desk. Okay, so that was the drop. You can color with this, by the way. You can add water to it. You can add other mediums to it. It is a water-based medium, so whenever you have water with water, works out great. There's this set of, are these the Easy Flow Gel? Okay, so these are the gel pens, and these are fantastic. I've been using them in my crafting. So it is a gel-based ink, and of course you're not going to be able to see it on white, but there's paper that I'm going to grab so you can see what that looks like. But you get two, not one, two of those. Then there's this Aqua Shimmer pen. These are fun. This happens to be in a rose gold. It's called Blush Rosettes. And it says here it adds a subtle rose gold shimmer effect. So I couldn't have said it better myself. And this is, again, another water medium. Water-based, I should say. So it's like a watercolor within a pen. You take off the little ring here. Okay, so you need to take that off. And then to get this started, all you have to do is put the cap back on. It has a little press location there. It tells you where to press so that you don't accidentally crack that barrel. But you let it drop like that until the nib gets fully wet, and then you're in business and you can play around with that. And it really does have a really pretty finish. So you can alter your papers with that. Then there's the Mother of Pearl Mousse. I think I already have one open, so let me take a peek. I think I have about 4 or 5 of those. Yes, I do. In fact, I think I recently used this on one of the memory books that I made. I'm pretty positive, but that's the color. It is a very pretty pearlescent, more yellow, of course, than anything else you see here. Let me grab a spatula, and I'm sorry, I was trying to move around and my things are far away. I don't know why. Okay, my little cart. I have a little rolling cart that I use. Then I have all of my little spatulas and this sort of thing. And I had to go find it. It was on the other side of the room. Okay, so all you do with this is you dig it out. Take as much as you need for your project. Now, I'm going to let you know, this is also water-based, and water, of course, evaporates. So there's a lot of talk on social media about the mousses sometimes. And the one thing that I can tell you is that you have to use it up. Don't wait on it. Don't let it sit on a shelf, because temperature fluctuations cause water to evaporate on a good day. And this sort of thing, you can lay it on thick as I'm doing here and be really crazy with it as if you were spackling a wall, or you can also water it down, and that pearlescent finish, and I'm trying to make sure that I show you how thick you can add this onto a piece of paper, because you can use this through a stencil, but the more you manipulate it, the softer it gets. And then it becomes more of a wash of color the thinner it gets. So it's a really fun medium. I think people shy away from it because they assume that they have to lay it on really thick, but you really don't have to. Hi, Kathy! I feel like it's been ages. I haven't done a live video in a long time, and my apologies for that. I've just been in kind of a funk. I don't know. I need to get out of my own headspace. So I've been trying to do a lot, and those of you who know me know that my back is sometimes an issue. Ooh la la, and that can get me in a bad way. But I'm not gonna focus on that today. I wanted to show you this. You can also smear that. So I know that it was drying because I had already laid that on there, but I had mentioned that this is a water-based medium, right? So this, by the way, is not watercolor paper. This is just a scrap sheet of paper. But I want to give you some ideas here. You can water that down, and you see that? All of a sudden it goes from this really intense purple to just a wash of color. So of course then if you mix it with that, you're going to get something. If you're mixing it with this, let's see what happens. Because this is the fun part. Discovering new colors and new washes and new techniques and all the good stuff. But you see what I mean? You can mix those two. No reason why you can't. You just want to do it on better paper than this, because this is just going to look like a mess because the paper will get oversaturated. However, if you leave this to dry and you like the texture, or you've piled on different textures all in one place, you can then die cut it and it's going to look fantastic, okay? So let me get rid of this and show you, speaking of papers. And by the way, keep these little boxes for your messy work, okay? Because say you have to play around with it, but you need it to dry and all that good stuff, you can just toss your paper in there, maybe make a quick note of what it was that you used, and then you can come back to it, okay? So those little boxes are quite useful for that. You're also going to get in this month's kit an entire package here of the Craft Perfect 300 GSM card blanks with the envelopes, and these are phenomenal. These happen to be a 5x7 size. You do get 10, so this is wonderful if you want to make a bunch of cards all at once. You're going to get your nice sturdy base and then the matching envelope, right? Pretty white color also. And the other thing you're going to get, just to get you going, woohoo! I have things flying everywhere. What else is new? Okay, is your paper. Pew pew! All the good stuff. You're going to get your beautiful papers. And I'm trying to find space here, guys. And let me tell you, I have a video coming out next week. Oh, it's so cute. You're not going to want to miss it, guys. I just finished the project and I finished the video and all the good stuff. And I was just looking at it and it's just so cute. Okay, so you may be familiar with these beautiful papers from Tonic Studios, but maybe you're not. They do come in specialty colors. They come in specialty finishes. So, case in point, you can get the regular, let's start here with the regular papers, and I'm going to grab my little paper there so I can tell you the name of the colors also. And this month, they're going a little bit, you know, with this color wave of blues and purples, but they work really nicely together. Oops, here's my little cheat sheet. And I always mention that you can refer to this when you're shopping for your papers if you want to stock up on them, because you get the little item number here and then you'll know what name corresponds to what. I am guilty of never memorizing a name, whether it be a person, place, or thing. So this is really helpful. But anyway, the classic cards are Aubergine Purple, which is this one here. There's Raspberry Pink. There's this Coral Pink. And then Navy Dazzle. So for instance, I would forget that name. I would forget Navy Dazzle. So I'm happy that they have that listed there. Then there's the glitter card, and this is called Arabian Nights. It is a type of ombre that switches from one color to another. Absolutely stunning in person. And the other ones are Indian Summer, which corresponds to that. It's got purples in here, but there's also blues, and there's also a bit of gold, I would say, in that paper. But the color waves are just stunning on that. There is, let's see here, Inca Gold. Absolutely beautiful. And this is a gold that's not so yellow. I always compare it to jewelry, right? So this is more on the 18 karat side than it, definitely not a 10 karat gold. And then there's this petal pink mirror card. I don't think I had, I don't know if I had seen this color before. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I've worked with this before, but it's gorgeous. And then the last one is the satin card, or I'm sorry, pearlescent, and it's also called Navy Dazzle. So wait a minute. Did I call this the wrong thing? Classic. I don't know. Teal. Oh yeah, I did. Okay, that's why the name didn't make sense. My apologies, guys. No one's yelling at me. This is not, wait, where are you? This is a teal. Okay, so I have to apologize. That's teal. That's why the name didn't work for me in my brain. This is the navy, okay? So again, make no, you know, don't listen to me. Listen to the sheets. So those are your papers. All right, so we have to get cutting and all the good things. However, I wanted to mention these again. These you can place onto any one of these papers, with the exception, I would say, I would not recommend it for the glitter card, but you can transfer them onto, for instance, this color here or any of the other ones. Super cute. What I would like to do is get out the, let's see here. Well, maybe you guys have a suggestion if you do. Oh, and I did want to mention the gel pen before I forget, right? I promised that I would tell you guys. So if you use this, you kind of have to let it warm up a bit. But if you see how it looks on this darker color, you're going to be able to see it. This one's not, what do you call that? Estrenada is the word in Spanish. No está estrenada, has not been used yet. Can kind of get that flowing. It takes a minute because this needs to warm up a little bit. And especially if it gets shipped in cold weather. And where I live, it's always cold. So it always takes a moment. But once that gets flowing, you get a good white ink line out of that. And that's useful for little details, of course, which is why I didn't want to go crazy on that. Oh, hi. Hello, Joanna. Yes, Joanna, you're going to love it because I think the colors are you're going to be happy with them, because let me show you again real quick. See that? It's just, I don't know, it's just a fun palette of colors. Now, it's a little darker than what I would typically go for, because I see how there's golds and yellows in this. I would end up throwing some yellow in that mix. However, as I said before, the mousse that you get, you can play with and then lighten things up a bit, you know? So, let me move this aside. And I'm sorry for the glare, guys. These are so useful. Let's see what we can do here, because we have, you know, I didn't mention that mousse. We have that mousse. Let's see, we can use the mousse on this. Let's do it on this one. And I'm gonna grab Mother of Pearl. This reminds me of there was a TV commercial some time ago where it had to do with, I think it was Colgate toothpaste here in the US. And it was a teacher talking to her students, and she was trying to teach them the colors, and so she's asking the students, what color are my teeth? And one little kid yells out, "Mother of pearl!" And it was in reference to how yellow her teeth were. Poor woman. But anyway, that's what I think of when I hear that name. I'm thinking that I would like to try this out, and I kind of want to be messy about it. So let's do some, I was going to say pasta sauce. I don't know why my mind went there. Toothpaste, pasta sauce, whatever. You know, mousse. Oh, guys. These are the things I never say in a pre-recorded video. All right. Now you can tell this is a little bit chunky because it's evaporating, as I mentioned before. But we're going to make it work. I'm simply going to slather this on here. And we're going to make a Picasso. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we have fun. Okay, so I'm going to try to pick some of that up, okay, because I'm laying it on there rather thick, but believe it or not, I am doing this on purpose. I want it to look very intentionally pasty. And as I mentioned before, the discoveries of adding one medium with another, right, is the fun part. So let's add some of this in there. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. All right. And we're going to do something with this. Not done yet. But that just added a bit of rose to that mix, and we can revisit that. Okay? But because it got a little bit more wet, I can actually scoop some of this away also. And until I'm happy with the results, I don't want that background texture showing, but I also don't want this to be so thick that it takes 5 days to dry. All right, but we've got a good little location there of medium. I am actually going to intentionally put this back in here and let it mix, kind of like those little surprises. And then you can always take a Sharpie and draw or write on there that this is not, pure color or whatever, if that matters to you. I'm now going to run this through my machine with this 3D embossing folder, okay? So that's where this was going. Just gonna cut a piece off of here. And it may be super wet, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna leave this here just because I don't want you guys getting all of that glare. And obviously this is much larger than the surface area of that, what do you call this thing? Embossing folder. But we're going to put it in here. Now, if you happen to have the tangerine, you may already know that you don't use your regular plate for this. And I'm reaching for it at the moment. What a noise is. You would want to use your embossing folder plate. But if you have other machines, be aware that that is a 3D embossing folder, not a regular one. So be mindful of that because, of course, you don't want to damage your material or your machines when you're crafting, which is why I'm bringing it up. And I'm going to run this through really quick. And the moisture of the paste is going to be sufficient for this. Normally, I would suggest that you spritz it with water. And my machine's right here, so I don't have to travel. Thank God. Just got to get some muscle. All right, so let's see what this looks like. And you're going to see the paper gets undulated because I put a massive amount of paste on there, which is not the usual amount that you would normally do, but I wanted to see where this takes us. I just want to see what kind of surprises lay ahead when we do something like this. Oh, well, see that? I was not expecting that at all. Pretty neat. Did you see what happened there? It moved the paste away from the background and concentrated it more on the butterflies. I love that kind of surprise. I did not think that that was going to happen. Now take a peek at the rest of this. So of course I now want to find out if I can do the inverse effect. And there's only one way to do that. I'm going to put a little bit of this mousse on here, what's left on the spatula. And I'm going to borrow some from the edge of this paper, in fact. It looks like butter. We played with butter and paper today. What did you do? Now it looks like I took away some of that paper because I see some coral on there. So it looks like it did rip off a little bit of that paper. But we're going to practice forgiveness. And, oh no. Joanna retracted her message. Is everything okay? Let me know, sis. I was going to call you sweetheart. Let me know, sweetheart. All right, I'm going to run this through and see what happens with that. Well, maybe we can get more than one card out of this. Oh, I said I didn't want to blind you guys. I am using a different method of filming today, so it's not my usual. I had to switch to my phone, which is why I'm not getting the best, clearest picture there, and my apologies for that. I can't explain how many lights I have in this room and it still looks dark. So I want to see. All right, so it didn't do much there, but that's okay. I got this kind of gradient look anyway. And a little bit of that mousse on the bottom. Because this, again, you can still keep playing with it. I could potentially just spritz that with water and run it through with watercolor paper and try to get yet another look out of that. But we're going to leave that be for now. And I do have mousse all over my hands. We can cut this down, however. And you guys let me know, but I don't mind messy. Don't mind it at all. If it looks like it's intentional, you can work with it. So I'm going to run this, or cut this down, I should say. And I'm going to leave that just like that. I don't mind it at all. I just think it looks different. And this one, I think I want to rip. I don't think I want to give this too clean of a finish because it's got all that nice texture already. So I want to continue that. And because the paper is still rather wet from the mousse, it's going to tear just fine. And I'm going to continue that down here. It literally looks like I put a bunch of butter on the edge of that. All right, but we're going to paper tear. And this can be very therapeutic. Now, you have to be prepared for the fact that you can't control this 100% if you're doing this, right? But we can try to do a clean-ish tear on that edge, right? I think I achieved that quite well. And then on here, we might lose a little bit of the butterfly, but that's okay. We're gonna go for that. Not too bad. I'm going to try to wipe my hands off a little bit here. All right, so you have to let me know in the chat if you guys already received this. I know, Joanna, you are a subscriber. I'm almost positive. And let me see if I can incorporate that. I'm going to also cut with the die set a couple of these shapes here. I'm gonna see how we can incorporate that, because I like the length of that, so I don't want to lose that, which means that I would have to incorporate this in the background, if you know what I mean. There's moose everywhere. Unless I cut it down, but I really don't want to do that at all. So, do I use the dies? Do I have to? Maybe on a different card. Maybe not on this one. On this one, I think I just want to use the paper. And for contrast here, I think I want to go with this. And then another lighter one on top. Quite a bit of shine on that. Let's see here. There was this one. And this is still going to remain as the lightest there. But if you recall, I did make this little mess here. Which might come in handy now as another layer. Ooh. Got a little bit of that craziness going on there. All right, I was just trying to wipe my hands off in case it sounded like I went rogue there for a minute. Because I'm thinking of adding a little bit of that there. And it's almost calling for a good crumple. Oh, wonderful, Kathy. Yeah, it's like getting a little gift in the mail. A purposeful one, you know? Ooh, so that took a little bit of that away. I like that. And some of this is going to flake off before it dries completely, but once it's fully dry, you won't get too much of that. All right. And I promise there's a method to my madness. I'm just going for full-on texture here. I think it's just fun. And then, of course, depending on the type of paper that you've used in the background, you're going to get a different effect, because you could have used that same technique of just loading that paper up, but on a different color. And then, of course, those little colors seeping out of the background, instead of being light, can be very dark. And if you like that, that may be really fun for you. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this down first, because this is going to be the largest panel that I intend on placing here. And I'm going to do, okay, so it's 5 by 7. I'll make this just slightly smaller. Ooh, and then you have to decide if you want that gradient or not. Huh. I think I want this side. I just thought of that. This side here is far more rose gold than this one. So I think I'm leaning in that direction. Decisions. Or if you want to cut it vertically, of course, then you get a whole different look. So please forgive me, but I'm going in this direction. Okay. And I'm going to flip this over because I don't want to get yet another tool out. And do my 7-inch mark here. And if it's not perfect, then I'll just cut down the base and pretend I did it on purpose. Because that's how I craft. Don't know if you guys do that too. Alright, but I've got one piece there. And I'm not moving very fast, guys, because I have a tripod holding my phone, and if I knock into that, you know, it's going to be a not pretty sight, because that thing's going to fly across this room. All right, so let's give ourselves a thin border. So that's why I'm being so like uber careful. And let's go here. I think this is the size I want. All right. So I have a bit of a rule of thumb, and that is that if I'm adding a whole bunch of craziness on the front of a card, I tend to make the background a bit more subdued, which is why I decided to just do straight lines on this. However, you don't have to follow that at all. You can just do your own thing and make it as busy as you like. I'm just more of a monochromatic person. So I'm going to try to wipe this clean because I did get chunks of that mousse on there. But if you see, that's how, it's not that complicated. I do want to use this here. I want to add this as a texture in the background, which is super, super crunchy, as you see. But I kind of want to also, let's see here. Let's add one of these butterflies. And what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to cut this out of the same color here. And this looks so much brighter in the camera. That's amazing. It looks almost orange in the camera. When I'm looking at it, it looks pink to me. So maybe, I don't know, might just be me. All right, so I'm just gonna run this through, and let's do another one because why waste the opportunity, right? And this one's got some of that mousse still on it, so maybe we take advantage of that too. I have the Craft Perfect low tack tape here. If you don't already have this, it's pretty cool. It doesn't destroy your paper, and that's a lot of fun to know that that's not going to happen. Because there have been days where it accidentally shifts and that's like your last little pretty piece of paper. All right, so we cut those out, and we can now cut into where I couldn't see it. I'm like, where'd it go? I know it was around here somewhere. All right, got two of those. I think we should work in threes though. So let's do a small one. Should have done this ahead of time, but all right, let's do that one. Let's borrow that. And you're noticing that I'm not using the backgrounds at the same time, and I'm very much doing that on purpose because I've learned the hard way that if you accidentally shift any one of these dies and it lands behind another one, you will very much regret it, because it will the machine won't distinguish that it's cutting a die versus paper. So I've done that before, and it's very preventable. So I mean, obviously you can fit more than one die on your plate, but you just want to be mindful of placement and all that good stuff. And this machine is really strong, so if you don't have the tangerine, ooh la la, let me tell you. It holds no prisoners. Is that how you say that? Holds no prisoners. I don't know if that's the correct phrase, so I apologize if it's not. All right, so, ooh, where'd it go? It went flying. I'm missing a butterfly, guys. I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. It landed over. Oh my gosh, how did that even happen? Case in point. Okay, so let's do this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these again in a darker color to place behind it. And that's where this beautiful mirror card is going to come in again. So I'm going to cut these pieces one more time to act as the shadow. So just so you know, there is a method to my madness. I hope you guys are having a lovely Friday. And I very much appreciate that you would take the time to stop by to watch me make a mess on my desk. I wanted to pre-record this video, however, this being the month of May is a quite busy month. And I honestly knew that I would not have time to edit yet another video this week. This was not going to happen. So I decided, you know what? I will just do a live video, share my thoughts and my initial reactions to all of these supplies that Tonic Studios sends me so kindly, so that I can have some fun and show you guys my version of what it is to paper craft without fear, right? And I have to say, you know, there's quality. I think this product sells itself. I don't think I have to. I never feel like I'm pushing anything on this channel, because first of all, I only share product that I've been using before I was ever even thinking of being on a design team. That just happened in my life. But I'm not here to convince you. I'm just here to share with you what I love to do, and it's always fun because if you are familiar with the product, then you already know going in, this stuff is awesome, right? No one needs to tell you that. But if you're brand new to crafting and you watch someone do this, it may just give you an idea of like, oh, that's how that works. And I'm hoping that that comes across. You know, there's quite a bit of planning, of course, that goes into certain crafts. I don't think card making has to be that way. It can be very organic and fun, which is why I like to get messy and just discover in the moment, what does this do? What does that do? And then if you don't like it, that's okay, because it's just paper. That's the other fun part. Oh no, you're really hot. Joanna, my mother's in the chat. She might one-up you on that one. She's in Puerto Rico, where it's always hot. She might be like, what are you talking about? All right, so let's do the little shadows as twinkly, bright shadows there. So cute. I love it. And if I were not doing a live video, you can bet that I would be far more careful about the amount of paper that I waste. But that's okay. As I said before, it's just paper. I don't know if I want to bother with their little bodies. Don't know if I want to do that right now. But we have these little guys that are going to go on there. And you can determine, of course, if you prefer the rub-ons, for instance, on white paper. Like, what I'm trying to share with you right now is the method. But you determine once you get your kit in your hands, do you want to do all of this but in a completely different color wave? You know what I mean? Do you want to make all of this super light? That's up to you, because the papers that come in the kit are for you to have a taste of what's available. I don't know why this is still here, but by all means, at some point you're going to use it up, right? Or maybe it's a challenge for you to work with these papers. So if it is, then hopefully you can take something away from this video, because purples and peaches and pearls are not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm hoping that it can introduce you to a happy version of it. And guys, I'm reaching for adhesive, because if you know anything about my live videos, is that my glue always just doesn't like me. And it only happens in the lives. When I was crafting earlier today with that same glue gun and nothing bad happened. Like it was just like, yeah, let's do it. Turn that camera on and the glue says, nope, not cooperating. All right, so let's do this. Let's layer this up. And this is just straightforward. I think I left 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch distance there all the way around. And if you're clever, you're going to cut the middle of that away so that you don't waste all that beautiful paper. I just don't want to keep you guys here too long. Now here, this is going to keep, oh, mamma mia, I keep reaching for the same thing. This is my little texture panel. Now, in lieu of crumpling up a piece of paper as I did here, you could definitely just use a different embossing folder, or just not emboss the paper at all and leave it flat. But I'm liking this. I like the gradation of color. I like the texture. Oh, and guys, by the way, my new favorite tool is this right here from Nouveau. Oh my gosh, such a lifesaver. Who knew that such a simple tool could do so much? But when you have weak hands, because this has a, you know, I don't know how else to say it except for that I really like it. Really enjoying it. All right, so here I'm going to actually add a bit of height to that. Ooh, and am I out of frame? So Joanna, is it often hot where you live? Aren't you in, wait, I don't know why I was thinking you were in Germany. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Are you in England? I can't remember now. I should know this by now. All right, so I'm gonna do this right down the middle here because this is super sticky, by the way. I want this to be I want to give me an opportunity to tuck in here and there, which is why I'm placing the initial adhesive here in the middle. Oish. Not my favorite thing. Those little squares. Okay. I'm going to be having little flaky pieces of mousse for the rest of my days here. All right. I also want to adhere these. And in this case, I'm only going to adhere the centers. I should have grabbed another piece of paper, guys. I'm sorry for that glare. Okay. So you can manipulate this a tiny bit there to get a little bit of that lift on that paper, as you can tell. I like that it's strong enough for that because this is 80-pound weight paper, so it does have a bit of body to it. It's not so very flimsy. And if you really want a super sharp crease, just take your paper creaser and run it right down that middle, and you're going to get that score line that'll then really leave those super lifted. I don't want to be too obvious about that placement, but I do the fingernail thing. The fingernail thing. You guys are so quiet in the chat. So quiet in that chat. Can they trust me to craft? Do they trust me? Do they trust me to make a nice looking card? I don't know, because I can't hear them. Is anybody out there? Did I disconnect by accident? I'm going to adhere this first. Ay, mamma mia. little butterfly went off. I thought it was just gonna lift. All right, no problem. Just as long as that glue doesn't get smeared everywhere. Woo, okay. I'm going to pick this up and adhere this, and I just realized that I didn't cut out a sentiment. My apologies, my friends. Make sure that this is facing the correct way. And I'm going to place that evenly all the way around as much as possible. Woo! I got a second before it dries. And I think I got it. I think I did it. All right. Okay, so revisiting this, I'm going to go ahead, place this here. Press that down. Ooh! It's still humid. Just to let you know, the reason that stuck to my tweezers there is because the mousse is still quite wet here. So if you're, for instance, mailing this out, you can dry it with a drying tool before you put this into an envelope so that it doesn't accidentally stick to the inside of an envelope. Okay, but what I'm doing there is just applying that pressure with the tweezers. And lastly, I'm going to place the smaller butterfly that doesn't want to cooperate. I'm going to do this. Put this one up here. And then I'm going to put that little one on top. Just like that. It doesn't need a whole lot of adhesive. In fact, I may have put too much, and that's probably why it keeps coming off. Ironically. I'll hold that. I'm going to take a peek at the chat. Hello, is anyone there? Let me know if you are. Let me know if you're still here. Or if you left. Let me know if you left. Alright, there's that. I want to get my little pen here. And I'm going to visit the edges of these butterflies with this rose gold. Oh, such a pretty combination. I never would have put these colors together, guys. I have to be completely honest. But I'm loving it. Love, love, love this color combination. I'm going to ask the design team who came up with the combo, because I'm curious now. So this, of course, is going to give that beautiful shine to that paper. Woohoo! And you go as heavy or as light on this as you like. In fact, I squeezed it a little bit too much, but I'm going to pretend I did that on purpose and just drag it out. Because all of that mica that's in that pen will puddle. But then you can somewhat drag it out. So I'm going to pinch that again so that it doesn't lose that shape. Oh, it's so pretty. I think I'm going to color the centers a little bit. Now, mind you, there are the die cuts that you can use. Oh, thank you, Kathy. I've always shared, it's really odd to talk in a room where where you cannot hear anyone else's voice talking back. You know what I mean? It's like when you send someone a text and you assume, or you receive a text and you look at it and you answer it in your head, and then later on you realize you never actually texted the person back. Does anyone else do that? Because I do it all the time. Alright, so this is why I didn't use the little bodies. Is because I thought it'd be cute to just do the little boat drops in the middle there. Just to add that little touch of purple. And you want to twirl it either clockwise or counterclockwise so that you get the perfect little swirl there. And notice I'm moving the paper, not the bottle. because the more you move the bottle, the higher the chances are that you will make a mess. Now, I like the little dies here that have the little branches. That's what I was thinking could be poking out of the background there. So let's see how we can use those, because I think it could look really beautiful. And let me see here. The challenge is the color, to be completely honest, because I'm tempted to use that paper that I had colored with the drops, but I accidentally, well, you know what? Let's do it. I'm overthinking, guys. Don't like to overthink. Just do it. All right, so I'm going to cut all 3 of these, and you won't see it, of course, because my machine's off to the side, but I'm just going to place these 3 dies on that purple painted paper and cut that out. And of course it's going to be light as well. However, you know what? I'm only doing this because that's already dry. Normally I would do it with heavy watercolor card. So let's just pretend this is watercolor paper, okay? I like the body of a thicker card. Basic. Oh, good question, Kathy. It is, you know what? It may as well be. I think it is, because I grabbed it as a scrap piece of paper. So that's why I was just, how do you say that in English? Help me out, people. Titubeando. Titubeando, that's the word I'm thinking of. And that means when you're, how do you say that? When you're going back and forth on a thought. I don't know how to say that in English, but yeah, I was going back and forth in my mind as to should I use this paper or not. And that is because it's not very thick, and I like to use the really thick paper on the more delicate cuts because I don't want them to accidentally fall apart when I'm die cutting them. But guess what? This survived. I really thought it was all going to just go kaput, and it did not. I'm quite happy about that. This looks like dill. So if you like to make a little card with that sort of look of little herbs, I think I said that earlier, you can totally do that. In fact, I may do that as the next sample. I'm gonna do something like that. Very delicate. I keep reaching for that gun out of just pure habit now. I can't even help myself. All right, let's do some more because I need a little more over here. And, you know, even a hot mess like that is useful, just so you know. Just because it looks yucky in the background does not mean you cannot use it. Because I guarantee you didn't think I was going to use this paper. And here I am, cutting it out, making something out of nothing. I will amuse myself, guys. Nothing else. But yeah, Kathy, it's thin paper. Now, I would revisit all of this, okay? All of the same techniques that you saw me do today. Do it in watercolor card and watch your mind be blown, because you're going to be like, what? It looks entirely different than what she did. And you'll love it. Not that this is not, you know, I like this. It's a lot of fun. But if you do it with watercolor card, the colors and the gradation of it and all that good stuff is going to be different. And I think you will enjoy it. So I'm going to add these little guys in here. And I think I have one more. And is that, yeah, it's too much of a good thing there. Hold on. Add that one. One more. Where'd you go? Here it is. I know, wait a minute. It's stuck to the die. That's why I couldn't find it. Come on, baby. All right, so that's gonna go over here. I think I need a little bit of lightness over there, and I'm going to just add one more there, and this card will be finito. This time around, though, I'm going to allow this to be a little bit of a gradient there. We shall see. One of these is going to have a gradient. Hello? Oh my goodness! Where have you been? Sapphire Manga. With a name like that, you would like these papers, I think. Darling, so good to see you. I'm here sharing the kit. The kit. The super duper beautiful kit from Tonic Studios. Which, by the way, if you've not checked it out, there are links below. I have to say it. There are links below. All right, let's do that one there. This has the same color as that background, but because it's got that gradation, it looks kind of neat right on top of those other two. These guys can stay over here. And don't need a whole lot of adhesive, but of course I can add a little piece of twine here. Super cute while I'm thinking of it. Yes, it's been a long time. I'm using my phone. Oh goodness, girl. Thank you. Have you know what? Have you ever sent me your address? Because I keep telling you guys, if you support my channel, I will mail you the card that I'm working on in the moment. So, Sapphire Manga, send me your address and you will get this card in the mail. Because I want to say thank you for supporting my channel. Because you guys don't have to do that, you know. All right, so I have this thin twine. A couple of years ago, I think it was now. I think it's been a couple of years now. I made this. I think I made it in a live video. I don't remember now, but I still use it, guys. It was so much fun to make. And I put my little twine in there because it's so messy. Oh, you know what? Thank you for asking me that. I don't have honey from this season. My husband will be, the box is full and he's going to be harvesting some. In fact, I was just asking him about it the other day. I was like, are you going to get that honey out of there or what? And he said yes. But I still have some, I think, from last year, which if you know about honey, it does not go bad. So if you want me to send you some, when I send you this card, then I'll send you a jar of honey, okay? And you'll love it. It's so yummy. So go ahead and send me your email me at paintsandglitter@gmail.com and I'll hook you up, okay? Because I really want him to keep doing that. We're doing it, you know, as a hobby right now, not as a source of income or anything, because he's got a job. He's got a different job now. I haven't told you guys that. My hubby's not doing full-time beekeeping anymore. Well, you just tipped me, so what are you talking about? And don't worry, okay? Don't even worry about that. Not even a little bit, all right? I'm happy to share. Because, as the good Lord has shown me, I can't outgive God, and God sends us little creatures to make this amazing substance that then we get to not only eat ourselves, but share with others. And let me just tell you, It's just a reminder of how blessed we are. That's how I'm gonna look at it. Okay. So, white gel pen, darlings. I did not forget about the white gel pen. This is where you can go ahead and add little bits of highlights here and there, which are not necessarily, you know, a huge part of what you make, but believe it or not, it makes a difference. Just add a little bit of this and that. And also, if you want to add it as if it were like splatters in the background, you can do that too. Just to give some visual interest. Seeing as we have all this texture already. And sorry guys, I get a little bit quiet. Get a little bit quiet when I'm crafting. Concentration. Alright, so I don't think I need to keep adding any more. In fact, there's one little spot there, believe it or not, that I want to remove. Right here. Because that was not intentional. If that ever happens to you, woohoo, my voice just broke. This is a mono eraser. Typically it's used in watercoloring to take off the masking, but it's a sand eraser. If you have any color, for instance, like if I really wanted to go in here and take off some of that mousse, I could even try to do that, but I'm not going to, you know, damage that paper. But this is a really good tool to have for removal of color. You just have to be kind of careful as to how ay, mamma mia, how strongly you use it, because you don't want to remove the paper. But there's one sample. I hope you guys like it. I had fun making it. And I keep saying that, for instance, if you like the idea of creating, let's do something small. I'm going to cut this card in half. Okay, because I've got the base, and I'm going to leave that there so that we don't get any of that crazy shine. But I'm going to take this folded card and I'm going to cut it with this medium-sized die. Okay, and we're going to do a little something different here. Just came to mind. Ooh, that might be a little too thick. Let me see. Hopefully not. Nope, I was feeding it wrong. Okay, so what we're going to do is, because I surpassed that line, it's going to be top folding, right? We all know that. However, what I would like to do is take the smaller one, which layers on top, and then cut it so that it fits right on top of that. I'm going to take advantage of that same paper again. And I'm just being lazy, guys, so that I don't have to leave my position here. Otherwise, of course, I wouldn't, you know, I would have just gotten some regular paper, but this is really good cardstock, so got to use it up. All right, so I'm going to place this right there. Okay, there's that. I was thinking that it would look really pretty with the little rub-ons to make it look as if it were like a little tea bag. You guys know what I mean? Now let's use this smaller one. I really need to put something there. Let me grab another scrap piece of paper because that's going to drive me bonkers. Yep, that's definitely copy paper. I don't know how it got into my other papers, but you see the difference? The good paper from Tonic Studios is a much brighter white, so I'm actually glad that I was able to bring that out so you see the difference of what you actually get in a kit. So here, I can get one of those, and let me see, what did the other one look like? Are they both the same? I didn't even look. I need a secretary. All right, bear with me, guys. I'm trying to find the other rub-on, but I've got things flying everywhere, including dies on the floor, stacks of mousse, some other random die set, and I know that I had more than one of these sheets. Where am I gonna stick it? I don't even know. Okay, I guess we're done. We're down to one for the moment. Oh well. I will find it later. Okay. Let's just use this one. All right. So what I got to thinking was, I still have this piece. Remember that? That could be, I'm trying to think of, I want to make it into like a bookmark or something, I think. Although, see, I don't know if I want to cut out one of these butterflies. Don't know if I want to do that. I'll save it for later. Did want to get sidetracked, but I still did. Okay, so what I would like to do here is to do this kind of off the edge here. Please do, and then share it with me, okay? I would love to see you do that. I just want to see how, you know, a different gradient of that, you know what I mean? I think it'd be a lot of fun. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just cut around this really quickly. And of course I could have done it after the fact, but I don't want that to stick to the background. I'm just going to have this stick kind of off the edge here. Let me try to place it like that. And at the same time have a little bit of that stippling showing. And I'm going to use my paper creaser, because if you think I know where that little stick went that came with it, I have no idea where that ended up. But you just take the carrier sheet off and then get to work rub-a-dubbing. I was thinking, for instance, if you did a little place setting for Mother's Day and added one little card to each plate, I think it would be so pretty. And if you couple this, by the way, with the kit that made the little teacups, oh my gosh, that would be fantabulous. I think it would look so pretty, especially with these rub-ons. I hope they sell these separately. I know that Leo was saying that a lot of these were going to be kit exclusives, but boy, I really hope they do bring them as a just, you know, one-time thing that you can purchase, because they're so beautiful. Look at the color on that. I mean, are you kidding me? I could cope with color for a week and nothing I make is going to look like that. But did you see how I just took away what I didn't want there with this? And it makes me look like I'm so super neat, even though my hands are like in a terrible state at this moment. I love that. I even have drops on my on my arm. All right, but you see where this is going, right? And then we can add the butterfly down here. I think I want to use the smaller one. I don't know why, but I think it'll look so delicate. You know what? Let's go for the smaller one, just for the sake of making this look super duper delicate. And we don't have to complicate things, you know what I mean? Let's go for the yellow one, right? Different color wave there in a way. Yes, the rub-ons are so darling. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. Because, for instance, you know how when washi tape became all the rage? I really thought I was going to love it. But because it didn't have that staying power, I just ended up using it for, you know, for holding my dies, honestly. Although, if you do run it underneath a die, you know, after you place washi on paper, then it's a little bit better because it kind of pushes it into the paper. But the rub-ons, their intensity in color is so beautiful. All right. And you guys know I don't have very strong hands, so if I can do it, anybody can do it. Just gonna be super careful. Woo! I'm always so happy. Hopper, hopper. All right, so there's that. And the other thing that I wanted to do was that here it is to take this here before I forget. I'm going to grab a little bit more of this twine. Okay, a little bit of that. And then, let me think here. I wonder if I cut this down. I'm going to cut this, but I'm going to cut it down so that it's a little bit smaller. So that's going to take two little trips through the die cutting machine, and you'll see what I mean. So first I'm going to cut it normal out of the remaining piece of this card. I'm going to cut that. Hopefully you guys saw that. I think you did. Run that through. Husband. Marcos. Oh, he must have gone outside. I was going to ask my husband about the whole bee thing because he's home. All right, so what I'm going to do now to shorten this and so that it doesn't look crazy is I'm going to layer the same die right on top and try to find the groove of the little stippling there so that it fits right back on there. It's sometimes easier to do it off the mat first and then line it up as best as you can here, because here we go. There's always a kind of like a sweet spot there where you can line it back up again. And I'm going to run that through one more time to shorten that. Voila, case in point. That's how it works. Super easy. And now I have you know, it's finished. This didn't line up perfectly on that side, but that's okay. Not gonna worry about it. Not at all. This can have some pretty little flowers on it. It did come with these little flower dies, so let's make use of that. And I'm sticking with the same paper because I already cut into it. Gonna be cheap like that. It's already cut into it, so I won't feel guilty. Alright, but I'm going to cut these out. And those are going to go on that little portion that hopefully ends up looking as if it were a little tea bag. And let me see here. I would like to put this on here, the Hugs and Kisses. And you know we're going to use this as a shadow, the messy, messy one. So I'm still getting some mileage out of that paper. I'm not going to let that go. And then the sentiment can be the darker one, the teal. I'm going to cut that. The teal, not navy. Cut that out, and then we're going to assemble this whole thing, okay? And it's funny how even a smaller card can take the same amount of time as a larger one. It all depends on how much effort you're putting into it. Okay, so there's that. Everybody stayed in their places, so that makes me happy. We're going to have our Hugs and Kisses. We are going to have our, letting that go, our little flowers, which will be over here. And I think I might cut it again, only because the little centers are the same color and I want those to be a different color. So, let's see here. I'm gonna move these out of the place. Out of the way, I mean. Save those for another day. Oh, I see. They're two separate dies. I don't know why I didn't realize that. What was I thinking? Let's do... I really want to have some yellow, but I'm not getting up, guys. Because if I get up, I'm going to have to leave. Let's see if that makes a difference. It might not, to be completely honest. I'm wishing I had more. Maybe I do. Bear with. No, I don't. I don't. That's okay. Moving on. I'm over here doing gymnastics and it seems like I'm just sitting here. But if you guys saw how far I've been trying to reach while I'm sitting in this chair. Okay. I'm going to try to cut those out. No, you know what? No. I'm just thinking this mirror card is not going to show up whatsoever on that. So I'm going to go back to this peachy color, whatever color it is. The peach that's pink, that's coral. Okay, that's quick enough because it's a tiny little die. And here we are. Yay, I got the color I wanted. It got a little tiny sprinkle of that mousse on there, and believe it or not, that makes my day. Okay, there we go. And they're so minute, so be careful with those little dies because you don't want to lose those tiny ones. They really make everything so darling. Okay, I'm done cutting. Done cutting. Now it's assembly time here. We shall adhere, adhere, adhere. I'm going to start here with the little Hugs and Kisses. And you don't need a whole lot of adhesive on that. A lot of ladies like to do the whole back of the hand thing, so long as you're not allergic, and then dab, dab, dab. Get some adhesive on that and then place it on your paper, if that works for you. Okay. On here, what will make the difference in my opinion is a little bit of dimension. I've got drops everywhere. I just noticed. I look like I've been playing in my mommy's makeup. Oh gosh. Alright, so let's put some dimensional adhesive on the back of that. And this is contraband adhesive, so don't yell at me. It's not Tonic. Sorry. The Tonic adhesive is just like 1 inch farther away than this one was. But We're almost to the finish line here. Gosh, these stick to my fingernails. Okay, so take 500 little pieces of dimensional adhesive and place those on top of your little card. Right there. Make sure it fits exactly where you want it. Okay. Then on the back, you can take double-sided adhesive. Make sure it's a good one. Got my hair on here and everything. All right, so I'm going to center this as best as I can here and place the twine on here. Okay. I'm going to double it up just because it's so thin. I'm going to double that up. I'm going to apply adhesive on here. Good amount there because I don't want that to slip out. Place this on our little card here. So cute. And then what I was thinking is that the rest of this can have this little piece to look like a little tea bag would. And I suppose I should have cut two, huh? I didn't think of that. But you'll get the idea. So I can finish this later. But just for the effect of this. Actually, you know what? I can place the whole thing on top of another card. Duh. Alright, so anyway, we're going to put this on here. And safeguard that. Cut away the excess. And then adorn this with those little flowers. Ay! I'm going to give a prize to whoever can count how many times I yell "ay" in one of my videos. Ay! Okay, 3 little flowers on that. And then 3 more little flowers right on top of those, right in the center. We'll complete this that we then can place as an embellishment on a card, or as I was saying earlier, depending on what you're making, you can use it as a little place setting. But do you see what I mean? So cute. All right, let me grab. It's gonna keep twirling, so I need to hold on to it somehow. There we go. And now the blue can make an appearance again. This pearlescent blue, but I don't want it to be such a big card. So I'm gonna cut this down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And because I've run out of room, ay, 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 mamma mia. There's no room on my desk. No room. I'm so neat and tidy, aren't I? All right, now I can kind of bring this back over here so you can sort of see what I'm doing. I hope to God I cut that right. We will find out in just a moment. I can never tell. But I did have a card. Here it is. Alright, so this one can be 5.5. And I'm sorry if I shook the camera. Cutting that down to 4.25. I'm making my moose dance. Okay, hopefully that's good. Let's find out here. Good enough. Good enough to call it okay. I'm going to place that as the background here. Grab for the gun, that doesn't work. I'm going to place this on top. And this can be the base here. So I have a tiny little edge there, but that is how I like to finish the cards, is to just give it a little bit of an edge if I'm not using a shaped card base. And just think it draws the eye to the center, believe it or not, to have that little bit of a white border. And then this little guy here can be just placefully positioned on top. And I'm going to shorten it a little bit. So this is the good thing about using the double-sided adhesive, is that you can disassemble, reassemble, whatever. Maybe put it like that. You guys tell me, does it look better with the flat side facing up or down? I'm thinking maybe this way now. I think I changed my mind on the placement of that. I'll put that right back on there. A little this and a little that. I don't think there's a wrong way to go about these things. But I'm going to position this now on the front. Mamma mia, es que no aprende, no aprende, no aprende. Okay, so I'm going to position this topsy-turvy here. And then place this playfully right behind it. And I'm wondering if I should have made it a little bit narrower, but I guess that's just me kind of second guessing myself. I don't know. That's okay. It can be just a little playful card. I'm trying to get this liner off. Here we go. Got a little bit of drop color on that. This helps to an extent, but you still have to kind of fiddle with it. I'm going to place it like that. I got something on my fingers and I don't know what it is. But now this will open like so. You can write a little message in there if you'd like to. I want to make sure. I think I got a little bit of a smudge on there and I don't know what that is. I've been touching glue and this and that, but I like that. And then you can revisit this with a little bit of spray if you'd like to. You can add little stitching lines if you would like to all around that border with a white gel pen. You can do as I had done over here, which is just add the little dots as if it was just sprayed on that background. I mean, a lot of different options, I think, to play with this. The rub-ons, as you saw, that takes, what, 2 seconds to put on your paper? The little mini-me. Yeah, I mean, I wanted it to look like, you know, the tea bag, the little tag, you know what I'm saying? But it does kind of look like a little baby tag and a mommy tag. I don't know. Well, you know what? Mother's Day is right around the corner, so that could work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So as I always say, if you guys are interested in any of these items, feel free to either use the links, or if you see a card and it's a must-have, shoot me an email. Don't be shy about that. And I also want to let you know that there are upcoming videos next week on this channel that are related to Tonic Studios. And I think, let me think here, what's today's date? Yes, one of them is going to be next Thursday for sure. I invite you to come watch that. It's going to be a tutorial using one of the beautiful, beautiful die sets from Tonic Studios. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then there are right now also the sales going on because tomorrow is National Scrapbooking Day. So be sure to take a peek at any deals that pop up. You may want to check your email. If you have any questions regarding that, of course, you can also either message me via Instagram or email me. But the other companies that I work with are, you may already know this, but they're scrapbookpal.com here in the US, and also Paper Rose, which is Australia based, and they ship worldwide. So be on the lookout for any deals on that. If you have seen any of the projects I've shared, they've been a lot of fun. Some of you may not know that I recently shared a 3D project. I'm looking for it at the moment. I'm panning my room, and it's way up in the corner. Let me just show you really quick, because I do have to say goodbye, but I'm going to show it to you really fast. Just because I'm super excited about it. I think it's a darling, darling project. And Sapphire, I'm forgetting your first name, but send me an email so that you can get that card, okay? And the honey. This is the project in reference. I had a lot of fun making it. I designed this little birdhouse, and I also designed the little mini album that's inside. The papers are exclusive to Paper Rose. The flowers on top, however, this little spray here, this is actually from Little Birdie. So if you're curious about that, that's actually from Tonic Studios US. But, you know, we like to mix and match. But, oh, let me show you the side. Isn't that so cute? I added some bling bling and everything to that. Lourdes, thank you, thank you. Thank you for reminding me, because I am horrible about that. But here's that little book. And it's perfect for this time of year. It has the little tags. It has little tuck spots for photos and everything. So I did create a digital file for this book for anyone interested. I put, you know, hours of work into it. So, and also the box. So if you're interested in that, I am charging $6 for the tutorial. It is a PDF file, and all you have to do is follow the measurements in that PDF file and follow my video tutorial, and you'll be able to make the same project. It has a template here. This is just a rectangle, of course, but that's a template for the photos. All of the pages, as you can see, are pretty simple and easy, but I did that on purpose so that if someone's new to paper crafting, they can follow along. If you're seasoned, you can also have some fun with that. It has a little button here at the end. I don't know if I showed that in the video. And then I think the only thing I didn't show in the video was the spine, but it is available in the PDF instructions. It's super easy. And I mean the paper on the outside, not the actual spine of the book, but this was super fun to make. So I do invite you to watch that tutorial, even if you don't get the PDF. It may lead you to get some inspiration on your own crafting. But I do have to go, and please don't forget to stop back and leave me a comment. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, feel free to share it with your friends. That would be the ultimate happy thing that you could do for me. But I very much appreciate that you would take time to spend some time with me today, having a bit of fun with this craft kit, of course. I really enjoyed opening this and getting to familiarize myself a little bit with the color palette because it's not how I traditionally will craft. But let me tell you, I think it's a lot of fun. And of course, you can always give it a try. And if you do become a subscriber, because this you can purchase this as a one-off kit, of course, but if you do decide to subscribe, it doesn't mean anything for me. It just means that you will get another 10% off of anything else that you purchase at tonicstudios.com, which I think can be really awesome, especially if you're in need of tools, which I think they're still on sale. Also, there's a tool sale from Tonic on the Tim Holtz tools. So the more you buy, the more of a discount you get. If that's still live, then be on the lookout for that because that's a phenomenal sale as well. But thank you again. Have a wonderful National Scrapbooking Day tomorrow. And my birthday's this month, so please come back. Because that'll be my birthday gift from you, is that you come back and visit me often. All right. I hope that you guys can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye. Thank you for that awesome tip also. Maybe I can buy myself a new chair that doesn't squeak. Bye-bye. Squeak, squeak.